Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel and this amazing video. I'm Aditya. In this video, we will see how to do per page rendering in Next.js. So without any further ado, let's begin. So when it comes to rendering a web page, you have various three types of mechanism to be honest. One is you render page on the server side, or you render page on the client side, or you do a mix of both. There is another one which is rendering the page during build time. Currently, in Next.js, we could do all three of these along with something known as incremental static regeneration. So we'll see them one by one. Let's begin with the server side one. So this is the traditional approach where you might do this still, like you're still doing this in Laravel or even PHP websites or .NET websites or even Ruby on Rails or most of the server-side rendered websites. So how it works is you send a request to a server. Your server then see what the request for the page is. If that page needs to do some database fetching, so it will just do the database fetching, get the data, hydrate your HTML content, and send it back with all the CSS as JavaScript to your browser. Then your browser will show the page. Now, as everything is rendered at server side and on each request, this thing is dynamic and your client will straight away see the content as soon as they visit your website. They won't see the blank page, they won't see a white page like you generally see in normal React or Vue app, where without any framework, by the way, where you just do a web page in React or Vue. In that case, you will get all the bundle from the server, and then the browser will do all those things for you, and your client will see the white page. But here they don't see that. They will straight away see the content. So the pros here are they will see the content straight away, so it's a bit faster, or rather faster. Then it's dynamic because on each request you'll see new content if there is a new content. And last but not the least, this thing is rich in SEO because all the content of that page is already there. Google crawlers or the search engine crawlers can crawl the web page properly and index it properly. So here we have the code. Oh, this is for static. We'll get back to that. So here we have the code for get server side props or server side rendering. Now you will see in Next.js we have these pages where we have name for each pages. Now it doesn't matter what name you give, literally doesn't matter. You can give any name you like. What matter is this serverless function or this edge function. Now this get server side props will run on the server and it will run before rendering this full page component. Now inside this full page component we have this head tag to render the meta tags or the head tags in our page, plus the product list to render the list of products, which is just setting products as a props and rendering the page over, rendering the products over here. Now how it works is here we are making call to Garchi API. So if you haven't checked my playlist on creating a headless e-store using Garchi CMS and Next.js, please do check that as well. It's a cool playlist I would say. So here we are getting the products from the API. And here we are passing that products over here specifically to the full page components via props. So for get server side props, you can accept the context. You could see request params, all those contexts. You could see all that thing in documentation as well. So that context is useful when you're dealing with incoming request, or you need something like the parameters or the cookies to be accessed through from the incoming request. The props, on the other hand, is the return object, you could say, that's going to go back to your full page component over here, literally like a props. And then whatever data you have received from the server, which is through here in the other, this is actually making a third-party API call, but you can also use SQLize or MongoDB or Firebase Admin SDK to get the data from wherever you want to get the data and pass it on the component through props. Now, if I go back over here, now to see this in action, what we need to do is we need to build a website, because if I do npm run dev, then it would be hot reload, and on every refresh or every new change, we will see the the changed content or the changed website. So there won't be any difference between SSG or SSR. So to see that difference, what I'm going to do is first I'm going to build the website. So I'm going to do npm run build and just simulate that this thing is happening on some actual server, but we will just do it on the local server. So once we build the website, you will see, we'll get back to other part, but here on the SSR, you will see there is a lambda sign. That means this page is server side rendered. Now, if we run this with npm run start and go to our website over here, so let's go over here, and this currently is SSR. Let's go to SSR, and there we go. We see the content. Now, if I go over here to view page source, actually, let's do view page source. So inside this view page source, you will see all the content. So the title is there. Then the product name should also be there somewhere. So if we check for that, sorry, web app, yeah, there we go. So web app with view 3 and tailwind CSS is there, the meta thing. Then we also have all these details over here, plus over here. That's great. So everything is there for a crawler to index your page properly if you have put all the content properly. Now if I go back over here to see the frames that the user sees, if I just reload this on slow 3G, like just simulating with a slow internet speed, you will see that I'm straight away seeing some content. The image is still downloaded because we are using image component, but nowhere I'm seeing white page or white screen or blank screen, because everything is there. Everything is rendered during or on the server side, so I can straight away see the content. Now, as I said, this is dynamic, so on each request you will get a new data, but the cons over here is, suppose this data, I don't want to have it dynamic because I don't change product listing that often. So in that case, I'm putting unnecessary load on the server to render this page on each request. And also, suppose if my web page is loaded with lots of products like this, and there are so many products, like there's so much content to load on this page, then the server side rendering might not be a good idea. That means I'm putting a lot of load on the server, like making it more busy, and then it will slow down my website, or I need to expand my server resources to make it faster again. So to avoid that, what we do is we just pre-render the page during build time, and that's where SSG comes in picture. So here it shows how much second it takes to pre-render the page. So what it does is, if I show you the diagram quickly, when you deploy code on server, this server will build that code using npm run build. It will identify that whether it's a Next.js project or other projects, and during that build process, it will see, okay, do I need to do any database fetching or any third-party API calls or something? We have said yes, so it will do that, and then hydrate the HTML content and just store it somewhere, the full page. So it will pre-render the page, and whenever there is a request, it will send a pre-generated web page, which will be static, but it will be faster. So if I go back over here, you'll see this is SSG. Like currently we won't notice that much of a speed difference because just two products, so it's not that much to fetch in. So if I just reload this in slow 3G, you'll see there is no difference at all. It will still record. Oops, I need to start it again. So if we start it again, and you'll see here, there is not that much of a difference. Like it will still record all the frames correctly. Like the content is still there, slightly faster. Like all the images are still there. Like there is no blank content at all. So it's same like server-side rendering. The only difference being this is pre-rendered. Now, if I go back over here, how do you do that? Well, very simple. The code is as it is. The only difference being, instead of get server-side props, use tell next to use get static props. So this function will tell Next, okay, I need to pre-render this page. So Next will pre-render this page for you. Rest, all the mechanism remains as it is. So you pass the data through props to the full page component, it will catch it and pass it to your other components. So the only difference being this is statically rendered. That means this function will run during build time, while get server side props will run during every request time. So whenever there is a request, this function will run, while on every request, this function won't run. It will only run during build time. Now, as we are getting stale content, for instance, if I go back over here, now the price here is 100. Now, if I change this price to, let's say, some other price, let's say I do this to 40, for instance, update. Okay, that's fine. So 40 over here, that's great. Now, if we go back over here, refresh the page. So statically generated page still shows 100, but the server-side page or server-side rendered page will show the fresh content, which is 40. So that's the main difference. Like you'll get the stale content. Now to avoid that, what you do is you have two options. You can either load this content on client side, or you could do it with something known as incremental static regeneration. So what is this incremental static regeneration? So here I will just say in the same get static props return object, here I'm going to say, okay, revalidate this page after certain interval. and that interval will be in seconds. So let's say I do here 10 seconds. So what it is going to do now is on every 10 seconds, it will check or make or run this function, like whenever it will get the data, and that new data, it will pass it again to the web page, and it will just pre-render that page, keep it behind the scene, and it will switch that page on next request. Now, as we have made changes, so let's build this again. So npm run build. There we go. And here you will see like this says ISR. So this page is incremental static regenerations, and it will need to revalidate after every 10 seconds. Now if we run the server again, npm run start. So here we see like the price will be new because we build the project. So every time we build, there will be new data fetch. But suppose if I now go over here and make it to, let's say 400, no 400, and update the price. That's great. Let's go back over here, refresh the page, nothing happens. Now it will revalidate it, it will fetch the new page, and when I do another request, it will show me the new page. So this is how it works. Behind the scene, it will swipe, or you could say swipe the old page with the new page, and it will show me the new page on every next request. So this is incremental static regeneration. Now the cons over here again is, now when this thing is taking long to load your data, that means it is adding to your build time. If it is adding to your build time, if you're hosting it on certain platforms where build times are charged, or you are charged per build time, then there will be a lot of bill in on your invoice. So to avoid that, what we do is we also try to optimize this. Like we make sure that, okay, how we could optimize it. Let's assume that this product is taking too much of a time to load, and we don't have to worry about the SEO of it. So what we are going to do is we will simply render it with client side. Now the only cons over here for client side is actually two cons. Number one, poor SEO, because this will be loaded after the page is received. Like this, all things will be there, only this part will be blank over here, because we are passing here a dynamic value, that is we are getting from here. Also the product list will be blank because it will show this title and everything, because this all will be statically generated. So by default, Next loads all the pages statically because there is a node server rendering this page. So you could consider this as any Express website where you are serving page through Express. In the same way with CSR page, we are going to do the same thing. Part of the page is rendered or will be generated by the server. The other part we will generate it. Now, unlike other React app or normal React web page where everything is generated on client side, in Next, only certain things are generated on client side, and those certain things are those which we tell it to render. Now, if I go back over here to client side rendering, we need to run, yeah, it's running, that's great. So if we go over here, you'll see there's a slight flicker. So if I go back again over here, there's a slight flicker. So if I go back over here and see the recorded page, you will see that initially we will see this white screen as it is. Like not actually white screen, I would say. Like the product list is blank over here, and then we will see the actual product list. Now, if I show you the web source of this, which if I go to view page source, if I go over here, you'll see that we don't have the product list or anything, so the SEO will be poor. But there is less load on server, and also the build time is kind of optimized. So these are like 3 types of renderings, or actually 4, that we could do with Next.js. Let me know which one you more oftenly use and how do you use it, like the scenarios and anything, and feel free to comment your opinions as well in the comment section. So if you like this video, please hit the thumbs up button because it helps a lot to make this content reach to many people on YouTube. If you feel this video is worth sharing, please do share with your network. And if you haven't subscribed to my channel, please do subscribe to my channel. So thank you very much for watching this video. Till the next time, goodbye.